And now this, the New York Times reporting that liberal parents are struggling with their conservative Trump voting sons and daughters after the election. Let's bring in Gavin. He's president of the New York Young Republican Club, which is a little kind of stick in the mud. And that's young people are kind of trying to bring new life into the Republican Party in a state like New York. I assume the same thing is happening in California. But it's interesting that the kids who voted for, I say kids, 18 to 29-year-olds who voted for Trump this time very often do have parents who voted for Biden. My own impression of that is that their parents were stuck in the old generation that believed in legacy media and that believed what they were hearing about Biden being okay and all the other myths that were reported before the election, whereas young people were dealing with the social media side of things that reportedly told the truth better than legacy media did.
No, that's absolutely correct. What we're seeing is a huge generational divide, both in terms of their media consumption and in terms of their economic opportunities. Obviously, these older generations getting it, like you said, from legacy media, from the traditional mainstream media, getting a totally distorted view on what's happening domestically and internationally, especially as it pertains to the Biden administration. If you look at the economic outcomes for young Americans, we're talking not about kids here, we're talking about young professionals just graduating college, entering the workforce, entering corporate America. They're not doing as well as their parents and grandparents once did. They're struggling to get a home. They're struggling to start a business. They're struggling to move up the corporate chain, get better paying, well-paying jobs. And we've seen a Democrat Party wholesale abandon, particularly young men, which is where we see the biggest shifts towards President Trump. Young men who have certainly been left behind from an economy that has outsourced their jobs, has tried to fight forever wars, all major issues impacting young Americans, particularly young men.
And you say particularly young men, but look at this. The overall 18 to 29-year-olds, 47% voted for Donald Trump. Now, we have seen this in the past, too. In the second term of Ronald Reagan, Reagan got 60% of the youth vote. So I'm just wondering whether or not the parties themselves, which sometimes become a little too solidified in their ways, should be giving more rope to the younger folks like yourself in order to make hay out of what we've seen now.
Well, absolutely. Look, we see our first millennial vice president in J.D. Vance.
That's
we
right.
see a Republican Party that's embracing younger rising stars, certainly more populist, certainly moving up the ranks of the political party. And you see the establishment of the Democrats, but the establishment of both parties is an aging, ossified, sort of out-of-touch elite. And they're really just not moving the needle forward in a lot of ways that matter. So I think what we're seeing is a monumental shift. The numbers you just had on the screen would have been unthinkable not so many years ago, even during the Obama administration, where he had captivated the young vote. But I think a lot of young people have become incredibly disillusioned. And you're seeing even past millennials, you're seeing Gen Z, the Zoomers as they're called, they're even moving further to the right than millennials and other generations.
We have to go, but I'm just wondering whether young Republicans all over the nation are unifying. In the Reagan era, it was the Young Americans for Freedom. Is there something like that going on?
Oh, absolutely. We're the oldest and largest young Republican club in the country. We've been leading the charge here in New York to support President Trump. We're going to continue to do so.
Gavin, great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Terrific.